afternoon, my homosexuals and my homo sapiens. It is currently a Sunday afternoon and I've finally got some free time from work, so I can finally do the rocket cover gasket that I've supposed to been doing on the Hilux for probably about 2 months now. It's been a long time, but I've been busy. I do have my trusty Haynes Hilux repair manual. Go to Supercheap, spend 40 bucks. You will appreciate it. The interesting thing about this is actually for just like a straight up Hilux. It's not even for the year model, so this is a 1994 Hilux Surf, and this is for 97 onwards Hiluxes. Supercheap has and Haynes make a 4Runner and Hilux repair manual, but I looked on it and it doesn't list the 1KZ as a motor, so I don't know if they only did repair manuals on the locally, like Oz imported originally Hilux Surfs, which I think came with like the 2.7s or the 2.8s, whatever they were. So I decided to get one of these because my mate has like a 1999 Toyota Hilux with a 1KZ, and it's the exact same torsion bar, the exact same like everything to my knowledge. I mean, he's got leafs in the rear obviously, but I was more concerned about the motor and the driveline, which is what was exactly the same. So I decided to just cop this anyway because I figured this is probably going to be more important, although it won't have all of the like window motors and stuff like that. Down the track I'll probably need to end up getting a 4Runner / Hilux Surf one, but for now everything motor related and driveline related, this will be more of a help. Well, let's jump right into it anyway. So we have our replacement rocket cover gasket. It's just one of the like regular old, I don't know what you want to call it. If you're looking for part numbers, there you go there. It's the one I got. I don't know if it's going to be the exact same one that you need, but I got a Matsumo one and there's your part number there in case you want to do the exact same thing with the exact same one. I think it was about like 30 bucks, 40 bucks. Well, it wasn't very much. So having a little look at it, we're definitely going to be taking off just our air intake piping. We got some clips there and there, so that should make it fairly easy, as well as I'm assuming the intake plenum will be in the way. At this point my roommate came out so I could have an extra set of hands, so I'm just going to do a voiceover for this part. I mean, it's fairly straightforward from what you can see. We're literally just taking off the piping that goes from the air filter to the actual intake, and then disconnecting the intake plenum from the throttle body. Is it still called a throttle body, even if it's like diesel? I don't know, someone who knows trucks, like, tell me, because I'm well out of my league here. I mean, like, it's got a throttle cable, but does it count as a throttle body? Now, the bloke who I bought this off decided to disconnect where the PCV actually vents back into the intake, so it just dumps straight to the atmosphere. That's what I'm taking off here. If you're doing this on a stock motor, it'll look very different. It'll literally be connected to the bit that's blocked off literally right next to the PCV. But either way, it's the same thing, you're just disconnecting the hose anyway. After that, we just took the retainer off that connects the intake plenum and holds the throttle cables actually in place. And then from there, we sort of got enough flex in the intake plenum. We were considering taking it off, but didn't have pliers, so decided to be dodgy and just find a way around it, and basically ended up just ripping the intake plenum or pulling it up and getting enough clearance to literally lift the rocket cover out. It was fairly dirty underneath, so I gave it a bit of a clean off before I put it back on, and then I just gave the gasket that we actually took off a bit of a check to see how rooted it was, and it was so bad that I could literally twist the gasket, and the plastic was that old and terrible that I literally broke it in half just by twisting it. This is a good time to have your apprentice clean your rocket cover for you before quickly installing a new one. I feel like this is fairly straightforward. I shouldn't need to say anything, just put it in the right place. And then everything is literally just the reverse of taking it off. Put the rocket cover gasket down, tighten all the bolts, attach the intake plenum back to the quote-unquote throttle body. I'm still not 100% sure if that's correct. Someone in the comments can probably get angry at me for calling it the wrong thing. And then reattach your throttle cables and put it all back into place. Now my camera did run out of battery before I could record a couple of things, like putting the intake pipe from the airbox to the actual intake, but you saw us take it off. It's literally the exact reverse. And now I will hand you back to live Oliver. Apologies, my camera ran out of battery there, but we've got everything all back together. I've just given it a little spray of degreaser sort of everywhere so I can check if it is leaking sort of in the future. But for now I guess we'll turn her over and make sure it's not completely pissing out oil, and just take it for a drive around the block. Ready to go. I need a new battery in this thing badly. I also don't currently have a handbrake, so that's one thing I got to look into. Well, she looks just about ready to go. I'll probably look at taking it to mechanics, getting it registered and getting them to give it a one-over before I do. But we should be just about ready to go, and that'll be bloody sweet. And then I can finally sell this piece of shit. We also still have this ugly boat here